Okay, what's so bad about me? What makes me a bad Asian daughter? One, I read self-help books and I pay large sums of money to go to self-help workshops simply for the purpose of sharing with strangers the most intimate details of my inner life, which is like so bad because in the Chinese culture, that's shame. The things that you keep to yourself are there for a reason because shame is central. And it should never be shared outside the family. So to pay money to have somebody just listen is just ridiculous. So that's bad. And the other thing that's bad about that is that I'm actually listening to advice from strangers that are actually trying to change my thinking. And the only people that should be able to influence your thinking are parents and teachers. Period. And yet, purportedly, that is supposed to cultivate independent thinking, which is a separate issue. Okay. So, second reason I'm bad, I've had multiple quote-unquote serious boyfriends in my adult life that just were in the meantime relationships, as Ilan Van Zandt illustrates, that we all kind of have to go through and clean up our crap through various relationships. They teach us about ourselves. It's totally not the model in Chinese, which is like you make one fateful decision and that's it. And you're constantly, and I've let go of that constant grasping need to evaluate every person for their prospects as marriage material. Oh my God, it made every interaction with a man so hellish because no one would measure up. I mean, let's face it. What does it mean to be quote unquote good enough for Lisa Chu? Haven't met him yet. I'm not even good enough for me. The third reason I'm bad is I don't eat Chinese food anymore. I don't even crave it. It's like too greasy, heavy, and complicated to make, and I've actually surprisingly come to enjoy very, very simple preparations of food, like pepper, salt, filet mignon on the grill, some asparagus, pepper and salt and olive oil, maybe a little garlic salt, and then either mushrooms or roasted potatoes. That's it for dinner. So easy. It's like criminal to me in my mind because easy is also bad. Like if it's not hard, it can't be good. That's another rule of Chinese thinking. So letting go is bad in terms of being an Asian daughter because your job is to hold on to everything and to hold everything together and to pay respect to the lineage that brought you here. I got to talk about that the other day from my dad about how basically he was, to me, my interpretation was of his long story about our ancestors was that we owe them some respect by doing certain things with our lives, which are ill-defined. Like he couldn't actually put his finger on what it was that we were supposed to do and what would be enough to show in the proper amount of respect to all of these ancestors who went through all of this stuff that we can't even imagine, but he spends his time imagining. So it's like really hard to meet that bar. It's really hard. It's okay. So here's another reason I'm a bad Asian daughter. I'm actually satisfied. I am at peace with moment to moment how I'm living my life, where I'm putting my energy, which is what creates the future. I don't even say where I'm headed because that to me is toxic thinking about attaching to a goal. It's like, okay, in this moment, where am I putting my energy and attention? Am I thinking gentle thoughts toward myself? And when I catch myself in stinking thinking, am I able to be aware of it, notice it, and work through it? And am I clear? Am I just clear? Am I unattached? And that's bad because there's an unwritten rule in the Chinese culture that if you're satisfied, you're not doing enough, and there's never enough. And at some level, they're always looking for a reason to be disappointed with something. So I caught it yesterday when my dad was talking about, I was just asking him, like, at what point he would ever express, like, absolutely no dissatisfaction with either my brother and me, who are age 35 and 42 at this point, okay? So we are well into adulthood by any standard, and yet most of his thinking is directed toward what's missing and what hasn't been done and what he can worry about. He's just looking for those things. And I even think my grandmother has let go more than him, which is funny. Like, at least she has her Buddhism, and she sort of like chants for half the day and fills her days with ritual, which is a practice. I mean, she's got her own deal going on. Whereas, for whatever reason, this American life of just constant striving and trying to make the mortgage and trying to make the college tuition payments and then the medical school tuition payments, and then it just never ended. It just ingrained for 30 years this sense of constant anxiety and worry, and it's a very deep rut in the brain. And so for me to be able to step back and observe it is also bad because, I'm supposed to act like a daughter, which I was told yesterday, I don't act like a daughter, which I was like, okay, what, can you be more specific? Like, help me out with this, because last time I checked, I'm a daughter. So, call me a bad one, but I'm still a daughter. So, and therefore, who I am is a daughter. I don't know what it means to act like a daughter, because that's what I am. So, I mean, it's a tangled web of contradictions and irreconcilable thoughts that people have arbitrarily attached themselves to, and that, they just, all they do, if you really step back and look at them, the only purpose they serve is to cause suffering. And there's something to be said for that. Some people enjoy suffering. They enjoy being attached to it. They carry it around and wear it as a costume, and that's how they identify themselves, and it's very difficult to let go of it and make room for the possibility of just